Perfect. All right. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Today we're going to be going over a topic called the wisdom of the serpent. And I understand very much so that this is can be perplexing to people because serpents in the Bible are usually looked as things that are bad. So what we want to do is we can see if we can glean from different aspects of this. That way we can go ahead and put it in an apologetic stance. And for you that don't know what apologetic means, it means basically to defend your standpoint. So when we say wisdom of the serpent, we're using it for going out there and sharing the good news or defending the Hebrew faith. All right, so let's go here. Before we even start, I wanted to go over something that Dr. Howard gave us in the class. It's called the stages of the awakening. And I'm pretty sure we've all had these things. And I use the blue pill, red pill, because during my awakening process, that's something that Maury Orlando had said. He said, do you want to go deeper or do you want to go ahead and stay the same? And of course, I said, I'm going to go ahead and go deeper. So when you take the red pill, when you want to go ahead and get deeper, you go through a cognitive dissonance a lot of times. I'm pretty sure we've all been through that. And we've met people that have been through that, meaning like you're choosing tradition. We tend to choose tradition over truth, meaning the things that we've been doing, we're choosing that over truth. And so we're in denial about a lot of things that could happen. The next stage of the awakening is an inquiry. So you're going to start asking questions. You're going to start asking questions. And when you ask questions, you usually find answers. And when you find answers, it's not necessarily in the awakening the answers that you're going to want to hear, right? So the next thing is frustration, aggression. I know at some point in time, every one of us has felt frustration and aggression when we learn things because it feels like we've been lied to a lot of the times. So that's the step number 3. Step number 4 is acceptance. So after you get upset and all that, you accept that this is the way things are. And this is how we're going to go have to move forward with that. Then the most frustrating step is step 5. I personally can speak on this. It's the blow the trumpet, meaning like you get information and you're ready to wake everybody up right away. You're ready to go ahead and say, everybody needs to wake up, like repent, because the kingdom of Yah is near. And then nobody's hearing you. Nobody online's hearing you. Your family's not hearing you. Your friends aren't hearing you. Nobody's leads And then that leads to number 6, rejection and isolation. A lot of times when people don't want to go ahead and be woken up at the rate we are woken up at, we feel rejected and we feel isolated. It's like, am I in this alone? And then we start testing stuff. We start saying, is this really like what I'm supposed to be doing? Because when you look around and you see the status quo doesn't believe in what you believe in, it tends to go ahead and make you feel like, maybe I need to test this deeper. And then you start doubting it because of the time. It's just like, man, it's just like, nobody's affirming what I'm saying. Like, I'm not finding anybody that's like-minded like me. It's hard to, like, is this really what I should be believing in? Because popular culture tells us that. And then, number 9, when you meet people that are like-minded, you get reassurance. And you're like, whoa, I'm not the only person that thinks like this. And you start opening up. And so step 1 through 9, we are learning, right? We're learning and we're finding out who we are in him. Step number 10 and step number 11 is where we go ahead and start gleaning from the wisdom of the snake. Because in this, I could say that I'm at number 10. I'm growing. And I'm doing my best to work towards being a skilled apologist. And so when we go ahead and get to number 10, we want to go ahead and start seeing different ways that we can go ahead and grow and seeing different ways that we can go ahead and be skilled. So let's go to the next thing. Can anybody, before we do that, can anybody relate to that? I mean, am I the only one that went through that, or is that something that everybody feels like they went through?
Yes.
I'm curious to know from the family, which number are you guys at? Tell me. I would like everybody to go ahead and type in which number do you think that you're at right now? I'd say I'm at number 10. Interesting. Nice. We got 10, 9, 10. I love it. 10, 7, testing. Good. That's a great place to be. That's a great place to be. 10. Good. 10, 10, 10. Nice. Maturation and growth. I love it. I love it. All right. So we'll go to the next thing. So one thing that I noticed is that nobody said that they're a skilled apologist. And I like that because it puts us in a position of we are humble meaning like we haven't arrived yet. We haven't arrived. Blow the trumpet. Oh, I've been there. I've been there. It's frustrating. You get online, me and Saya, we be online and we go out there and share something that people be like, like, no, that ain't it. And then we're just like, and you could be taken back by that. You could really be taken back by that. Let's go to the next slide. So when we say the wisdom of the serpent, I got this directly from what Yahusha said. And for you that, those of you that don't know, Yahusha is the Messiah. He said, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. So when you're a sheep in the midst of wolves, you're thinking you're in a place of danger. You're in a place that's foreign to you. You're in a place that you don't know necessarily how to navigate, right? See, be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Why would he tell us to be wise as serpents if at the beginning it said we're at enmity with them? And a lot of times people go ahead and associate serpent with Satan. So it has to be deeper than that, correct? So let's go ahead and dive deeper. What is a serpent? And I'm talking about what is a serpent from the quote that I just quoted from, not the Old Testament, what they said, but what this context of what they're talking about, what a serpent is. It says a serpent is ophis. It is a type of sly and cunning. So it doesn't have to necessarily just be a snake. It's a type of sly and cunning and an artfully malicious person, especially Satan or Satan. So it's a artfully malicious person, meaning like they're malicious, but the way they do it isn't your standard orthodox way of doing it. So let's continue. Does he tell us to be an artfully malicious person? Does he tell us to go ahead and be sly and cunning and malicious? Well, there's a reason why he said cunning, but harmless. He says, I send you as sheep into wolves to be artfully cunning, but harmless. So when you go ahead and think of snakes, you think that the way you get to somebody, the way that you go ahead and do and maneuver is something artfully and something cunningly, like a snake, but you are as harmless as a dove. There's a reason why he said that. All right, let's dive deeper into it, Yashirel. So this is called the wisdom of the serpent. And today we're going to go ahead and get 6 things that makes a serpent wise. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one, and then we're going to go ahead. If you all have any questions or anything, you let me know. So I felt we're at 8 through 10, cyclical being through that leads towards them. Not enough saying 11, but yeah, for sure. We're all striving towards 11. Always, Dan, for sure. So the wisdom of the serpent, number 1 is adaptability to the environment. If you guys know serpents, they can be in an urban environment. They can be in a jungle environment. They can be in a desert environment. Nothing stops them from getting their prey, right? They can go ahead and adapt. They can climb trees. They can swim. They can do all these different things. Nothing stops them. And I hope that you all are seeing where I'm going with this. They shed their skin. And you'll see where I'm going with that. They know when and where to strike. They cultivate their inner power, which means that they know how much venom they have. They know how tight they can squeeze something. They know how big they are, which allows them to go ahead and choose their prey. Silence. You will never hear a snake coming. Because it is artful in that way. It relies on itself to be silent, and it overcomes handicaps. So let's go deeper into it. All right. Y'all ready? Let's do it. So adaptability to environment. So if you guys look at the snake on the right side, you all can see that he's blending into the tree. He's blending into the leaves. They can blend into anything, right? They can blend in. It can climb. It can swim. It can form to their environment. You guys see that he's becoming the tree. They're becoming the leaf. It can navigate through the harshest of environments, the harshest. So what does that got to do with me? What did that got to do with you? How can we use that? Well, let's look at our brother Paul. Okay, let's see what he does. So he says, and unto the Yahudim or Jews, I became as a Yahudim. So around Jewish people or around Jews, he talked like them. He looked like them. He could relate. He changed to that environment. To them that are under the law, as them that are under the law. So people who are basically go ahead and promote being under the law. He's saying that, or Pharisees or whoever he's talking to, he's saying he became like that and he was able to adapt his environment. He said them without the law as without Torah. So people who are Gentiles, He was able to talk to them, right? He became like them, right? I might gain, so he said also, but the subject of Torah, that I might gain them, those that are without Torah. To the weak I became weak, that I may gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might be all means saved. Save some. So as you can see, look at the snake on the left. He was able to go to the water to get what he wants. The snake on the bottom left, to get what he wants, he was able to go ahead and climb that tree. He became that. So we have to go ahead and learn from the snake. It adapts in its environment. A lot of times, I don't know if you guys feel that, but when we're around what you can say, modern day Christian, super Christianized, not even a skin color, but black, white, whatever it is, do we know how to navigate in that circle? Do we know how to navigate around Mormons? Do we know how to navigate around Muslim? Do we know how to navigate around Jewish people? Do we know how to navigate around those things? Paul says, I became those in order to gain some. So they form to their environment. So that's the first thing. They can go through harsh terrain. Did you all know that a snake can journey up to 3 weeks in rough terrain without food? 3 weeks. It doesn't have to eat for 3 weeks and be comfortable. It can journey long periods of time and not eat. And I could pull this from Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. Set your heart aright and constantly endure, and make sure make not haste in time of trouble. So don't panic. Keep going the course. You keep going the course. Anytime that a snake makes haste, it gets exposed. It gets exposed. So we want to make sure that we're able to go ahead and silently be able to maneuver in rough terrain and endure it, but don't make haste. Don't make hasty decisions in those rough terrains. All right, let's go to the next thing. So shedding of the skin, and I hope this hits you, you guys. When a snake continues to grow, its skin does not. Did you all know that? When a snake grows, its skin stays the same. I don't know if you guys are hearing me. When a snake grows, its skin does not grow with it. It gets rid of what no longer serves it. And it gets rid of parasites. So on its skin, it starts to gain parasites as it goes along through its journey, right? So what does it have to do? It has to shed. I hope you all are seeing where I'm going with this. Growing out of our old skin. Therefore, if any man in Mashiach, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. All things are become new. As you can look on the left side, that's a snake who shedded its skin. Every day we are called to go ahead and get rid of things that no longer serve us. Things that we are called to leave, things that no longer allow us to go ahead and grow, right? So the skin is almost like a prison cell to a snake that grows. All right, let's go to the next thing. Parasites. That's a snake that's growing out of it, but parasites. So I want you guys to really hone in on this. Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. Wrath, bitterness, these are parasitical. These are parasitical that will eat at your ruach. They will eat at your ruach. Anger, evil speaking, these are things that are parasitic to you. They latch onto you and they suck the life out of you. We are to go ahead and put away these things. You are to shed the skin of all those things. It even says, remember not the former things, neither consider the things of old. We are not even to remember that state. Exactly. At your ruach, your mind, your body, everything. They're parasitical. We're not even to remember those things, right? And it says, and they that are Yahusha HaMashiachs have crucified the flesh with all affections and lusts. Affections and lusts are parasitical. We have to think that we are to shed our skin like this snake. All right, Yasharel, y'all ready for the next one? Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Knowing when to strike. Man, a lot of us, including me, a lot of us, we don't know when to strike. We'll strike at the wrong time and then get bit because our neck is out, or we won't strike at all. You need to know when to strike. Snakes know when to strike. There's a defensive position, right? So if you guys ever walk past a snake, you'll see it's in a defensive position. It's not going to come after you, no matter how big you are, but it's in a defensive position. It's ready. How can I apply this to my life? Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But sanctify Yahuwah Elohim. For you those that don't know who Yahuwah Elohim is, Yahuwah is the one who breathes life, and Elohim, creator is the one who breathes life, or of the things that have breath in your hearts. And be ready, always give an answer. Always give an answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you, and the meekness that's in you, and fear. So anytime somebody, yes, best offense, great defense, 100%. So he says, prepared to have an answer. Be prepared to have an answer. So all of us we have to study to be show ourselves approved. All of us, you have to be prepared to have an answer. Okay. So you have to have a defensive stance. Now, defensive stance doesn't mean that you just go after everybody. It just means that when it comes to you, you need to be prepared. If you look at a snake, it's going to recoil and get ready. So we are called to do that. But the other of love, knowing that I am set before defense of the Basora. We are called to be defenders of it. Okay. The Basora is what you would call the royal news, or the good news. We would call that. All right. Next one. So there's a defensive stance, but like they said, you got to have an offensive stance, right? All right. So the offensive pose, you see that he's different. He's standing up. He's ready. Mm-hmm. Some man holds his tongue because he knows not the answer. And some keep silent, knowing his time. A wise man will hold his tongue till he sees opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. Now, I'm going to put the question on you, Yasharel. What happens to a snake that bites at the wrong time and misses?
It's exposed and vulnerable to defeat.
It's exposed and vulnerable because you think a snake, when it strikes, its neck is fully out. It can no longer go ahead and have a follow-up strike. So if it misses, then what happens? It's going to get eaten. And as you can see, foxes eat snakes. They do. So we have to know when and where to strike, when is a good opportune time. It says what? A wise man will hold his tongue till he sees opportunity. It doesn't say a wise man will hold his tongue forever, but till he sees opportunity. Let's go to the next. So a snake cultivates its inner power. So we have to think every snake knows how potent its venom is. Every snake. They know how potent their venom is. They know their constricting power. Every snake knows how hard it can constrict. And every snake knows its size. So if you know your venom, you're going to go after something that can go ahead and be taken down by your venom. If you know your constricting power, you're going to go after things you can constrict. If you know your size, you're going to go after things that are smaller than you. So we have to cultivate our inner power. And you'll see where I'm going with this. Every snake knows its venom potency. So it says this: the word of Elohim is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to dividing asunder the soul and the ruach, and the joints and the marrow, and it's a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. So when we strike, our venom is the word. Our venom is the word. And what does the word do? It affects the thoughts, the minds, the joints, the marrows, such as venom would. And it takes time. It takes time, right? So we have to understand that some snakes, they're not poison. They're not poisonous. But we got to understand that we have to have some stuff like I would say that a snake that's not poisonous is a man or woman who don't know their word. A man or woman who doesn't stand on Torah. You might bite them, but it's just like they're not going to be affected by it. It's not going to pierce their heart. We have to be able to have scripture ready when they're going to strike, and the venom will go ahead and affect their minds and their hearts. Right? So it knows its venom potency. Observe this. Now, before we go to this, I want you all to see what this snake does and then what it does after a strike. And then I want you guys to tell me what exactly you observe. Let's watch. What did it do? And can anybody ask me? I mean, anybody tell me what did the snake do after it struck?
Watch it.
It watched it. Yes, it watched it. Continue to keep its eyes on it. Right. What else did it do?
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I was like, it struck and then recoiled. It struck very quickly and then recoiled and went
Yes.
back into a defensive stance.
I would say, in addition to that, not to repeat it, but additionally, it knew its venom power. So it just sat back. It didn't need to strike again. It just watched and waited because it knew its power, that it was going to be destroyed.
Man, it even avoided it. It even avoided it. It reached back. It's like, I don't even need to go ahead and continue. But Yasharel, do we go ahead and sometimes give somebody the word and keep trying to give them more and more and more, and then we lose our prey? It should be let your words, or let the Ruach and let Yah's word do what it does. We need to stop going ahead and giving our opinion to stuff. We need to stop going ahead and giving our look at stuff. The snake already knew its venom power and it just waited. It didn't need to do nothing else. So let's learn from that. Let's watch again one more time. I give you the word. And what does the mouse do? He's in denial, cognitive dissonance. He's in denial, he's running around. The snake's like, I'm not even worried about you because I know that word is going to cut you right to your flesh, right to your soul, your ruach.
They're going to keep doing what they're doing until it affects them.
Exactly.
They make a change.
Exactly. 100%. It's 100%. All right, to the next thing. So number 4, snakes move in silence to remain undetected, right? They will make noise. Also, they will make noise as a defensive tactic, but they will never make noise as an offensive tactic. So if you come up on a rattlesnake, it's not going to rattle if it wants to come and attack you. It's going to rattle as a defensive tactic. Okay. So when you're going after something and you're looking for an opportunity of action, you have to think, poor little mouse. I know that's the laws of nature, though. It's the laws of nature. Snakes move in silence. So how can we glean from this? And I hope you all are seeing where I'm going with this. How can we glean from that? So silence. Whoso guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from trouble. Whoso guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from troubles, right? What happens if a snake lets the person know he's coming or lets him know his plan? What happens? That little mouse would have got away. They also would have got killed if it's a prey that's able to go ahead and come after them 100%. So we have to think that we have to move in silence while we're vulnerable. Exactly. You are vulnerable because remember, snakes, they don't have arms. They don't have legs. They can't run. They can't do anything spectacular. So they have to be cunning and artful with how to get the person or how to get their prey. So whoever guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from troubles. Let's go deeper. Proverbs speaks about it the whole time. He says, he that answers a matter before he hears it is folly and shame and unto shame. So that means that, do you all think that snakes, they just go up and randomly strike people or things? Or do you think that they go ahead and plan everything out beforehand? They plan it out. They plan it out. Absolutely. They know the terrain. They know what they're doing. They're smart because they know that their venom will kill that thing if they're going after it. So he that answers a matter before he hears it, he that strikes before he sees the environment or his opponent, it is folly and shame unto him. Have we ever done that before? We going ahead and we speak in Torah and talking to this person we don't even know nothing before, and we don't even know anything about him. Have we done that before? I know I have. I'm sitting here being a Torah terrorist, going ahead, hammering the word to somebody, and I haven't even heard what they had to say. So we can all fall victim to that, right? The next one, James 1:19, or Yaakov. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak, slow to wrath. As you all saw, what did the mouse do when it came in? The mouse didn't look at where its environment was. It just ran around in circles and it got struck. What did the snake do? It's just like, oh, I need to see what's going on and move slow, okay? So we need to be what? Swift to hear and slow to speak. because words are powerful. See a man that is hasty in his words, there is more hope for a fool than of him. So somebody who can just go ahead and spew out stuff, there's more hope for somebody who is a fool than that. Then it says this, even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise. Let's go that again. Let's do that again. Even a fool when he holds his peace, he is counted wise. And he that shuts his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Because when you say something, you can't pull it back. When a snake strikes, remember when we said they're vulnerable? When you speak, you are now vulnerable. So you need to make it count. You need to be calculated. We need to go ahead and make sure that we have a hit on that. So remember, just like a snake, when it strikes, it's vulnerable. So make sure that you know when and where to strike with that. All right, next one. These are 10 animals that prey on snakes. So snakes are not at the top of the food chain, right? Wolverines, mongoose, king snake, other snakes, other people. So we can just sit there and say that other Israelites. If you go ahead and you go to a camp and you start talking and you don't know what you're talking about, you're going to get eaten. We have to be artfully harmless, right? Snake eagle, bobcat, hedgehog, Scottish terrier, honey badger, king cobra, other snakes, right? Secretary bird. We have to make sure that we know exactly who we're up against. So if a snake's going to go ahead and try and hunt one of these things, because snakes do hunt eagles, they hunt bobcats, they hunt all these things. If they're going to, you think they can just go out there and just strike first, or do they have to be cunning? They have to be cunning, right? They have to be cunning, Yasharel. So 3-minute role play. 3-minute role play. All right. So he gotta be cunning, better be cunning and calculated 100%. Yes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 3 different people, and these are events that have actually happened to me for like with different times. And what we're gonna do a role play. And I want to see if you all can go ahead and use those 6 skills to go ahead and go against your opponent. So before we go, a lot of times, if it's not the right environment and it's not the right time, is it okay to not go ahead and say anything? Is it okay to flee? Is it okay to wait for another opportune time? It is. So if you see somebody that you're not ready to talk to and the environment isn't right, and you know that your venom isn't going to kill them at that time, go in an opportune time, another opportune time. So remember, a wise man or woman waits their time to go ahead and strike. So the first person, I'm going to take a volunteer. We got Ryan. Ryan grew up at a Baptist church. So this is like you as a snake or a wise or a cunningly artistic person, you gain this information on him. So Ryan grew up in a Baptist church, right? He grew up in it. He's your coworker. That means that you've seen him a couple times. You've had interactions with him. He hasn't gone to church in 1 year. So he might have church hurt. He might just not be able to go there. But Christmas is big in his family. It's big. So does anybody want to go ahead and, because I'm not going to tell you what Ryan has to say, because he's going to ask you a question. You guys got to be ready. Do I have any volunteers to take on Ryan? Anybody? Oh, somebody going to have to. And if everybody want to go ahead and wait till an opportune time, that's wisdom right there. I respect that. That's wisdom. If you don't want to go ahead and deal with Christmas and deal with baptism and all that stuff, yeah. Yeah. Because guess what? All of us are. All right, Kimmy.
Yep, Kimmy.
All right, Kimmy. You ready? All right. Go ahead and turn your mic on for us. So Ryan came up to you and he asked you this question. Kimmy, so do you have any Christmas plans this year? What do you say? We got 3 minutes. Go.
Actually, I don't.
Why not?
Because that's not something that I participate in anymore.
Oh, anymore? Are you a Muslim? Are you Jewish? Why is that?
No. I just celebrate the feast days. I celebrate the days that the Most High gave us.
Who's the Most High?
You would call him God. Some
Okay.
people call him Yahweh. Some people call him Yahuwah.
Oh, so you guys don't celebrate. When did you stop celebrating Christmas? That's like my favorite holiday. You mean to tell me that we can't celebrate Christmas? Where does it say that in the Bible?
So from what I understand, the word talks about how we are not to celebrate and worship the Most High like other nations celebrate their gods.
So the Israelites didn't celebrate. Isn't that his birthday?
I would say that I would ask you to research the history of Christmas and see how that correlates with scripture.
But I love Christmas. I don't want to give that up.
I'm not telling you to give it up. I'm just telling you what I do.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So this you said that Christmas isn't in the Bible?
No.
Does it say that we can't celebrate it?
So I go back to the scripture that talks about not celebrating or worshiping the Most High as other nations celebrate their gods. When you research Christmas and you understand that there are multiple gods that have that same quote unquote birthday, you kind of question, why would our Father have his son be born on the same day as those other gods? What do you think?
So what does it say? What book does it say that in? I haven't read that. I haven't been to church in like a year, so I don't really know. But can you send me the chapter?
30 seconds.
30, you said 30 seconds?
Yes.
Oh, whoa. Let me look in Matthew, I believe. I believe it's in the book of Matthew.
Okay.
I only have 30 seconds. Gosh.
Joshua, you guys can help her out.
Jeremiah 10.
Oh, Jeremiah. That's right, because it talks about the Christmas tree too, don't it? In Jeremiah.
Time.
I tried.
That was his attention span. He only had 3 minutes. So we look at his basically his game film. Snake struck and missed. Now vulnerable, yes. So Christmas is big in his family. So we got to tread lightly with that. Very, very lightly. I think you gave a great answer that you didn't celebrate like all that stuff, how you did it. You were, you didn't attack him. And when he said that, what's it called? Why don't you are you Muslim? Are you Jewish? You had a great answer. You left him to be able to research it. When we have scripture, he can't fight against that because he had a Baptist background. He understands that. And once he sees Jeremiah 10, that venom, it's going to go ahead and make him wrestle with it. But other than that, I like it. I like it. All right. So my next person, and this is an actual conversation that I have every year, every single one with my coworkers. And so this is an actual conversation I've had. All right. So the next one, this is Matthew. Matthew's open-minded. He grew up Catholic. He believes in a higher power. And you both are at a dinner event. Anybody want to take on Matthew?
I volunteer.
Or wait for an opportune time?
Who volunteered?
Somebody volunteer?
Yeah.
Who?
I think somebody said I volunteered.
Matthew got to get the word somehow.
I was going to say I volunteer Jackie's.
Jaquise, you ready for Matthew? Is you ready? They volunteered you, Jaquise. You ready? All right, she's ready. All right.
Wait. I can't hear her. Is she on?
Can we hear you? Can you say something real quick? Hello?
Uh-oh.
Can't hear her.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep, can hear you. Good. All right. 3, 2, 1. Jaquise.
Wait, do you hear all the background noise?
I don't hear the background noise, no.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so Jaquise, I saw your post on IG. If you don't mind me asking, why is it that you don't eat pork? Are you Muslim?
No, I'm not Muslim. What was intriguing about the post?
Because you said that, like during Christmas time, you don't like to eat pork because pork is like, it's like bad for you and it's not biblical.
Yes, pork is it is one of the unclean animals that we are not to eat.
Oh, so we're not supposed to eat pork. Doesn't it say that all things are made clean by God? I remember in my Catholic classes, they would say that all things are made clean.
Well, no, actually, if you look at Leviticus chapter 11 and Deuteronomy chapter 14, those are the dietary laws that are written by the Most High and then reiterated. All of the law, statutes, and commandments are reiterated in the book of Deuteronomy.
Gotcha. But under the new commandment, didn't Jesus pay for it all? Didn't he died so that way we can go ahead and like eat what we want? Like in Acts, didn't one apostle, I don't know his name, didn't he eat pork in his dream?
So that I cannot speak to in terms of the apostle eating pork in his dream. However, do you mind me asking who Jesus that we call Yahusha, who is he quoting? Where does he get his scriptures from?
Who is he quoting? Oh, I don't know. I thought he was just like I haven't been to church in a while, so I think he's quoting from like the New Testament.
Have you read Matthew the entire Bible from front to back?
I have not read the entire Bible from front to back.
I encourage you to read the entire Bible from front to back, because until I started at the beginning, I didn't understand what was being talked about or taking place in the New Testament. And I think that may answer your question, the question that I asked you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for clearing that up. I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and look at that. I'll go ahead and read the New Testament and the Old Testament, and I'll try to find that in there.
Sure. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up. I love talking about the Bible.
Okay.
So
I would love to do that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Oh.
All right.
I like that you struck, but you didn't let go. You saw a weakness right there, and you did not let go at all. You said that, where did he quote from? And I'm like, ooh, you had a perfect timing. The venom struck as far as like, you're pointing me back to Torah, and I like that. And you just you let me talk, and you kept bringing it back to me. You kept bringing it back to me instead of telling me what you think. You dug the answer out of me. And I thought that was good. That was a good job. I like it. Yep. We got one more. Y'all ready? Y'all gonna like this next one. We got Lucy. Y'all ready for Lucy? So Lucy, a non-denominational Christian. She's an Israel supporter. Because you all know the battle between Israel and Palestine. She's a big Israel supporter. She's a Republican. She's a Republican, but she's an acquaintance of yours. Is anybody ready for Lucy?
Can you hear me?
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Isn't what Hamas is doing to the children of Israel terrible?
I believe what they're doing is terrible, but that's not the children of Israel.
What do you mean that's not the there is Israelite Israelis? What do you mean that it's not the children of Israel?
Oh no, they're actually the Jewish people in Israel today, they're converts. They converted to Judaism. They're not the actual ethnic people of Israel.
They're not?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
And the
why
Bible
why
speaks to this. And if you read Revelations, chapter 2 and chapter 9, in verse 9, you can see that, Yahusha or Jesus talks about the synagogue of Satan and people that say they are Jews but are not.
so you're saying that they're the ones that said that they're Jews. How do you know that's them though?
Well,
It's not
we can go through other scriptures to back it up or history, but I believe it's I forget the exact scripture, but Jesus basically says that
why'd you quote Jesus?
um
Why'd you put it in
because
quotations?
I don't use the name Jesus because that's not the name that he was born with. No one called him Jesus when he walked the earth. So I say
What?
Yahusha.
What
Yeah.
is that? But in the Bible it says Jesus.
I mean, well, the Bible we're reading out of a English Bible that's been through Greek and Latin, so we have a misconstrued understanding of the names.
Okay. So how do we know who's the Jews? Because they said that they're Jewish, like the people with the curls. And like we're supposed to respect them because they're the people from the Bible, right? We got to respect them. And
Um,
they're in Israel right now. That's theirs.
well, yeah, and according to Bible prophecy, the true Jews aren't supposed to be in Israel right now. They're supposed to be scattered.
Where does it say that at?
We can look in the book of Luke and we can look in Deuteronomy, chapter 28. So, in Luke, I don't remember the exact chapter and verse. You can look this up, but the Messiah is basically saying that
30 seconds.
the Messiah basically says that the land will be trodden by the Gentiles, the non-Jews, and the Jews will
What's a
be followed
Gentile?
by a non-Israelite. And if you look in
Aren't we
Deuteronomy
all
28,
Gentiles?
no, we're not all Gentiles. No, we're not.
Okay, go
But if
ahead.
you look in Deuteronomy 28, it shows who the true children of Israel is, because we didn't hearken to the commandments
Time.
of the Most High.
That was her. That was her.
Uh,
That was her attention span. That's all. We got 3 minutes. Most people before they check out. No, that was good. What do you think, Pete? What you think? I liked it. I mean, I like what he did. Like he was very calm. You didn't get all worked up.
He did
You didn't get all worked up.
it.
That was good because that would have
Thank
got
you.
a normal person worked up. Now you played very very
Yeah.
smooth. You were smooth
He
with it.
wasn't swayed.
You weren't swayed, and I would hit you with some stuff, and you weren't even taken back. You were just like whatever. You just kept going through the harsh terrain.
2 years ago, I probably would have blew up,
Oh yeah, man.
but
Exactly. You just saw opportunities. No, I like that, but like let us learn from these because these are real conversations. These are real conversations that I've had. And these are real people out there that actually think like this. And it's up to us to go ahead and be able to cunningly, because if you just say, we're the real Israelites, we're this, but if you just say that, you lost it. You lost them. We have to be that's why he said, was a reason he said, artfully harmless. And the way that we did that was artful. All right, so next. Yep. No. Anybody else have any input about any of those ones? Or has anybody else faced those type of conversations?
Um, do I have to raise my hand?
Oh, just go ahead.
Okay. Just recently, I had a conversation with a young man from Vietnam, and he asked me, "Do you celebrate Christmas?" He said, "And before you answer, let me tell you that I have asked many Americans, many Americans, and none of them can give me an answer or tell me why they celebrate it. They tell me what they buy and the gifts they get, but they don't tell me why they celebrate it."
Mm.
And I had to explain to him why I don't. and I used Deuteronomy 28. And he just looked at me and he said, well, maybe I'll read that. But he pointed out that everybody he asked pastors, he asked people in the church, he made it a point to ask anybody that he thought should know, and he never got an answer from anybody.
Mm, mm. I like that. I like that. And one tactic that I wanted to add in, one tactic that everybody like used, or that would be good, is the more information that we have about something or somebody, the better that we know when to strike. So the more you keep asking that person questions and questions and questions, and you keep listening and listening and listening, they're going to give you a weak point. They're going to give it to you. So the longer you listen, the more that they're going to expose. So 100%. No, I mean, what did you say to him?
I said to him, I don't celebrate Christmas because it's not about our Messiah. It's not about the Torah and our Messiah. It is about a pagan ritual and events, and it's about spending money and getting into debt, and it has nothing to do with what our Father has told us, and it is not biblically correct. And you don't see the word Christmas in there anywhere, and you don't see that you have to buy all these gifts and all of these things that is just not a part of biblical behavior. And he was okay with that. He just sat and thought.
Like it. So you struck him, and then he kind of had to run around and just sit with it.
Yeah.
The venom was potent. You got him. All right, Auntie Martina, go ahead.
Hey, hallelujah. Okay, so years ago, your mother was working for a couple that their neighbor was Mormon. And her and I went to the Mormon temple. And if you you can just picture, because this is piggybacking off of what you said as far as having your self ready and just hitting them with questions and questions, they're going to find the weak point. If you can picture two cowgirls walking in fully loaded, because we hit them hard. We were asking them questions regarding the Bible, regarding everything that was important to the Torah. And they were so messed up. They were calling in different people. They were huddling. They were scrambled. And when we were finished, we were ready to go. And they all came to us and they were like, can we have this conversation again? We weren't ready. Exactly what you're saying today pertaining to being ready to strike. If you yield to Yahweh and you let him take over that event, you are going to most definitely watch your prey scramble. It is imperative that you know your stuff. So I am just in full agreement to everything that you're teaching today, because it is most definitely an amazing victory when you know your stuff to the people that you're facing, and you're fully equipped and you're fully ready to strike, just like that viper.
100%. Let's go back to that video real quick. I wanted to go back to that. I felt like that's important for us to see. Remember this. Let your word hold weight. He just did one strike. Just one. It was so powerful. That little bit of time, those words are so powerful. And he was just chilling. The word do the work. Now think about it like this. The more we talk, the longer your neck is out. The more words you say, the more you stay exposed. So when we go ahead and we ask questions, they talk, their neck gets exposed. And all we have to do is just hit them with one thing and let the word do the work. All right, let's go to the next thing. All right, Lucy. So number five. Snakes overcome handicaps. They're not fast like cheetahs or other animals. They don't have 4 legs. They don't have arms. They don't have legs. Yet they can go ahead and take down giant prey. How is this? Small snakes can kill large mammals. Because you guys know do you all know what the most deadliest snake is in the world? Anybody?
A python?
It's the inland taipan. The inland taipan is the most deadliest snake in the world, which is home and native in Australia. It has enough venom to kill 100 humans. If you get struck by it, you will die. It's 100% fatality rate, right? So, but it's not even that big. It's not even that big. It doesn't have any legs, doesn't have any arms, but it has enough venom. It uses its mouth and what it has inside to kill its prey. So we have to make sure that we can go ahead and maneuver and get stuff like that. All right. So how does that have to do with us overcoming handicaps? Well, let's look at David. He was handicapped. He was a shepherd. He didn't have a whole lot. He didn't have a spear. He didn't have a shield. He didn't have armor like Goliath. So let's look at it. What did he have? Then David or Dawid said to the Philistine or the Palestine, you come to me with a sword and a spear and with a shield, but I come to you in the name of Yahuwah Sebot, which is Yahuwah of hosts, of the Shamayim of heaven, and the Elohai of the armies of Yasharel, whom you have defiled. This day Yahuwah will deliver you into my hand, and I will smite you and take your head from you, and I will give your carcass of the host to the Palestine, of the host of the Philistine or Palestine, this day unto the fowls of the air and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth shall know that there is an Elohim of Yasharel. So he came and what? He says, I have nothing but what? I have Yahuwah. I have Yahuwah to guide me. I have him. We don't need arms. We don't need legs. We don't need to be able to run fast. We don't need to be able to go ahead and think super smart and be that. We don't need to be a philosopher. We have Yahuwah. We have him. So if small David can take down large Goliath with just having Yahuwah, we can do the same thing. And when we let him guide us, then we can go ahead and take down larger prey because he's the one that's speaking for us. And in closing, I want to leave y'all with this. We're saved by grace. And I'll expand on this a little bit. What does grace mean? Well, grace means this in this context: divine influence upon the heart and its reflection in the life. So when we operate with divine influence on our heart, he's not going to put us into a place and not give us prey that can consume us. He's not going to have us going into terrain which is going to destroy us. He's going to be able to identify things and be able to have us walk in places where no harm shall come upon us. So when we move and when we're divinely inspired on our heart, we can't move to places. The only place that we can move are places where we're going to see victory. That's the only place he'll be able to have us move, right? And so I want us to know that when you operate and you go ahead and you have these conversations, you are to be divinely inspired and let him speak. Because at the end of the day, it's his word. So who knows his word better than his Ruach? So when you say saved by grace, well, in that rough environment, because it says we're sheep amongst the wolves, the thing that saves us is the divine inspiration on our heart. It's the divine inspiration on our heart, and it reflects in life. So meaning like the inward becoming the outward. And then that is how we can go ahead and glean from the snake's wisdom, but let Yahuwah guide our path. So in that, I close, and I'll leave it open to dialogue.
Hallelujah. Great job, Ach Press. Awesome job of delivering the word.